Hey guys, in this video we're going to cover the best travel apps for Panama.
You are watching Outside is Calling.
Intro video.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Jesse.
And we've been traveling full-time for nearly 2 years.
We escaped our 9-to-5 jobs, became digital nomads, and we're even in a documentary.
Check out OutsideIsCalling.com in the description below if you'd like to know more.
We've been living in Panama for 3 months and have gotten a ton of questions from people asking us what it's like.
We've created an entire series answering those questions and more. So subscribe so you don't miss any.
And for those of our longtime RV subscribers, even if you don't want to go to Panama, please stick around because next month we'll have a lot of videos about taking our big ol' honkin' RV down into Mexico. It is kind of funny, and perhaps I'm showing my age, but when I began traveling after the military years ago, it was a handful because typically all I'd have is a guidebook. It was an adventure, yes, but it was always very overwhelming. And there's a lot of great tools now, and with our modern smartphones, having this guy here is like having my own virtual assistant, and it's pretty cool to have gone from, you know, traveling in the caveman days to now traveling with so much information.
You guys, when I first met him, he had his entire international calling card number memorized.
I still do.
He still does.
18413. Blank, 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 blank.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not something you really ever have to worry about anymore.
But yeah, so having apps to help travel, it really has made our travel experience so much less stressful. You're gonna have some stress. It's gonna happen, especially with international travel, with all the unknowns and uncertainties. But I don't know, I'd say that having these apps and these great tools just really help us minimize that stress and also do even more cool things than we would do otherwise. So before we jump into the apps, I do want to share with you guys a great resource that we used extensively while we were in Panama. And this is a blog post, and so a shout out to Joey Bonura. I hope I'm saying your name right, but great blog, and I'm gonna put a link in the description to his blog post. It covers many of these apps and more. We have a few he didn't have in his that we used, but overall his blog post covered extensively great apps for travel within and throughout Panama.
So communication, especially communication with family back in the States, was a really big deal for us. Now, luckily, because data and internet was so readily accessible in Panama, we could use apps like Skype, Facebook Messenger, Hangouts, WhatsApp. They are all great ways to communicate with anyone in the world, really, as long as you have an internet connection. And so that was a really big help for us. The doctor's office, the pediatrician that I took Tucker to, they use WhatsApp to communicate. There are many businesses, many of the taxi drivers, they all use WhatsApp. You just shoot them a message, they tell you if they have appointments or if the taxi can pick you up. So WhatsApp specifically in Panama was a really, really big and widely used app.
Yeah, I'd recommend for sure before you go to Panama, be sure to get it on your phone, learn how to use it. And that was great, as Jenny mentioned, for texting and for calling, just communication across the board. So if you're like us and you're not a natural Spanish speaking speaker, all right, so if you're like us and you're not a native Spanish speaker, you'll need something to help you translate, and Google Translate was super helpful for communicating with non-English speakers. There were plenty of people that we met that did speak English, but there's also plenty of people who did not speak English, and we didn't know enough Spanish to be able to communicate effectively. And having Google Translate was very helpful for getting important information across, like such as to our nanny or to a taxi driver. There's 2 apps that helped us learn Spanish, Duolingo and Rosetta Stone. Were both very helpful for practicing Spanish at home.
So for transportation, if you do expect to be driving at all, do not use Apple Maps. It was awful. Google Maps works flawlessly throughout Panama. Waze is also a very widely used app. Many of the people on the roads will update it in real time, so that was super helpful. Also, Uber, if you're in some of the bigger towns, Uber is an option, so have that downloaded if you don't want to use a taxi.
So for finding accommodations, of course, you can use all the normal hotel searches, but we also had good luck looking through Airbnb. We found actually the house that we rented, Jenny found through Craigslist. And like the local version of Craigslist in Panama is an app called Encuentra 24, Encuentra 24. But that's like the Panamanian version of Craigslist. We did have a couple of travel guidebooks. These aren't apps, these are guidebooks. And those were actually kind of helpful a couple times when it came time to negotiate prices, because we could say, well, hey, the guidebook says this. And they always say, oh, yeah, that's because the guidebook's 2 years old, but it still gives you a little bit of bargaining power to get the rates you're hoping to get at some places.
Also, Facebook, I think everyone can probably safely say that they have a Facebook app on their phone. There are many, many groups on Facebook, depending on where you're traveling to in Panama. I became a member of Coronado Mamas and things to do in Coronado and Expats in Panama. So there's tons of resources in Facebook specifically where you can find out information.
Also on the blog post, one app we didn't use, but it sounded pretty fun, is an app called Live Walk PTY. So it's like for walking around Panama City. And I guess it just kind of guides you through the history of the city if you want to go check that stuff out. One app I've used before, which is very handy at the Panama Canal, for those of you wanting to see any of the ships transiting the canal. Vessel Finder is a great app for seeing what boats are in the area and which boats are coming and going. You can actually tap on the boats, it'll give you more information if they're a big boat, little boat, tugboat, cargo ship, etc. And it was helpful for us to time it to see the boats going through the locks. At the most popular is the Miraflores locks.
If you are into going to the beaches or surfing, tidal changes were huge along the west coast of Panama. So we exclusively used Surfline as well as Magic Seaweed. They had pretty accurate and updated information, but another app is Super Deportes. Like I said, we didn't use that one, but that was one that was referenced to us.
The Magic Seaweed app seemed to be the most accurate with surf height. If you're going to surf, Magic Seaweed definitely had the winning forecast, but Surfline has a lot of cameras throughout Panama, so it's actually handy to go in there and you can look around and see what's happening on Surfline.
Those of you that have visited Panama and you used an app that we did not reference, please let us know. We are definitely open and would love to hear any other apps that you may have used.
Be sure to check out our playlist with tons more information about traveling through Panama and Central America. Hey guys, I've created a website page just for all this information covered in the series. The link is in the description below.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Was that good enough? Okay.